Imagine this. You're walking along a quiet stretch of beach on the south shore of Long Island, New York. It's cold, windy, silent. Just another forgotten winter morning. But under the sand, something horrific lies waiting. Not one body, not two, but four. And that was only the beginning. For over a decade, the identity of the Long Island serial killer, also known as Lisk, was a mystery that haunted police, terrified residents, and devastated families. Women vanished. Clues went cold. And the killer? He went home every night, ate dinner with his wife, took his kids to school. Until one day, a crust of pizza changed everything. This is the story of Rex Heuermann, the man accused of being the Long Island serial killer, and how he allegedly pulled off one of the longest, most chilling reigns of terror, right in the suburbs of New York. December 2010, Gilgo Beach, Long Island. A police officer and cadaver dog are doing a routine training exercise. They're not even looking for bodies. They're searching for a missing escort named Shannon Gilbert, who vanished months earlier after a chilling 911 call. But what they find changes everything. 4 sets of human remains. All women, all wrapped in burlap, all spaced just far enough apart to suggest chilling precision. Over the next few months, that number would grow. Dismembered remains, partial skeletons, bones buried deep in the sand. In total, 10 victims would be discovered, each one adding to a mystery that would haunt Long Island for years. Let's start with the original 4, known as the Gilgo 4. Melissa Barthelemy was the first. Then came Megan Waterman, followed by Maureen Brainerd Barnes, and finally, Amber Lynn Costello. All 4 were petite, all worked as escorts, all disappeared between 2007 and 2010. And all were believed to have been contacted by the same man, someone methodical, calculating, and terrifyingly precise. After the Gilgo 4 were discovered, the investigation should have exploded. 4 women, same profession, same disposal method, same remote location in Long Island, New York. This wasn't random. It was calculated. But then, more bodies turned up. Scattered across the same coastline, investigators found 6 additional sets of remains. But these weren't all like the first 4. Some were partial, some dismembered, some dated back to the late 1990s. One victim was a toddler. Another was a young man believed to be Asian, dressed in women's clothing. A third was identified only by a torso, no head, no limbs. These new discoveries shocked investigators and raised a terrifying question. Were there multiple killers at work? Or was this all the same person evolving his method? Authorities labeled the original 4 victims as likely connected. Same killer, same MO. But the others? That was less clear. And that's when something even darker began to emerge. The media quickly latched onto the Gilgo 4, the young, white, photogenic women with escort ads online. But the other victims? They barely made headlines. Family members of the lesser-known victims started speaking out. They felt the investigation treated their loved ones as less important, less worthy of justice. And unfortunately, they weren't wrong. Behind the scenes, police departments clashed. Political distractions piled up. The resources just weren't there. What should have been a relentless pursuit of a predator slowed to a crawl. Shannon Gilbert was the reason police were near Gilgo Beach in the first place. On May 1st, 2010, she ran from a client's house in Oak Beach, screaming that someone was trying to kill her. She called 911 and begged for help.
State police. Yeah, there's somebody after me.
Her call lasted more than 20 minutes. She said over and over again,
People are plotting to kill me.
She knocked on neighbors' doors. She tried to hide.
Where are you, Shannon?
She screams. And then she vanished. At first, police didn't take it seriously. They dismissed it as a mental episode. But the search for Shannon led them to something much bigger. Her body wouldn't be found for over a year. In December 2011, her remains were discovered in a marsh just a mile from where she disappeared. Police ruled her death an accident, said she drowned while disoriented, but her family never believed that. Neither did much of the public. Many believe that Shannon Gilbert was the Long Island serial killer's first victim, the one who got away. Almost. By 2012, the case had gone cold. Leads dried up, witnesses moved on, and behind the scenes, there was chaos. The Suffolk County Police Department had refused help from the FBI. They clashed with state officials, and in 2015, the case took another nosedive when the county's police chief, James Burke, was arrested, not for anything related to Lisk, but for beating a suspect and covering it up. Worse than that, Burke had actively blocked FBI involvement in the serial killer investigation. Some said it was to protect his own secrets. Others said it was ego. Whatever the reason, the damage was done. Years of potential progress were lost, and the families? They were left with silence. But then, after more than a decade, something changed. In 2022, a new task force quietly took over the case. They used modern technology, digital forensics, DNA databases, and most importantly, they reanalyzed the burner phones used to contact the victims. Those burner phones weren't as untraceable as the killer thought. They all pinged in a specific area of Midtown Manhattan, over and over again, right near a single building. The office of an architect named Rex Heuermann. If you looked at Rex Heuermann, nothing would seem off. He was quiet, married, had 2 kids, owned a successful architecture firm.
Born and raised on Long Island.
Okay.
Been working in Manhattan since 1987.
He lived in Massapequa Park, just miles from where the bodies were found. Took the train to work, came home like clockwork.
When a job that should have been routine suddenly becomes not routine, I get the phone call.
Gotcha.
But the deeper investigators looked, the darker the picture became. He used burner phones to contact escorts, conducted disturbing online searches about torture and rape. He studied serial killers, stalked victims, and, most damning of all, a pizza crust he threw away linked his DNA to a hair found on one of the bodies. In July 2023, police arrested him outside his office. What made this case so chilling wasn't just the brutality. It was how ordinary the killer seemed to be. Rex Heuermann lived a quiet life. Barbecues in the backyard, family vacations, holiday lights. And yet, if the allegations are true, he was using his workdays and commutes to plan out murders, to call victims, to dump bodies along a remote beach. All while no one suspected a thing. Even with Rex Heuermann in custody, the story isn't over. Investigators are re-examining other cases. More remains, more missing women. Some believe he had accomplices. Others wonder if he's only responsible for a handful of the murders, and that another killer is still out there. The truth? It's still unfolding. And for the families of the other 6 victims, the wait for justice continues. The Long Island serial killer case reminds us of 2 things: how long evil can hide in plain sight, and how important it is to never stop searching for the truth. Rex Heuermann awaits trial. The investigation presses on, and the world continues watching. Because for the families, for the victims, and for everyone who was ignored for so long, this is just the beginning of a much longer road to justice. If you found this story powerful, hit that like button, subscribe, and share your thoughts below. These stories deserve to be heard, because silence is what lets monsters like this hide.